your superstar here, Hailie Deegan, as always, just basically runs out of talent here. Lap 4 of this race. Looked like she clipped the apron. Basically just lost talent. That's all there is to it. There's no reason at lap 4 of a race, especially starting that far back in the pack, as she always does. She always qualifies terrible. And then she puts herself in these situations where she just wrecks herself, basically, right there at lap 4, takes out Jack Wood, takes out Lawless Alley, just innocent bystanders to her absolute failure as being a race car driver. It seems like we keep talking about this time and time again. One thing I want to note, though, reading those comments of that video, or even the truck highlight video, all the comments were bagging Hailie Deegan as well. They were going further than we go, because we base all our stuff off of stats, right? Me and Tom have told you this time and time and time again. We judge drivers based upon performance. We judge drivers based upon driving talent. We base drivers on their stats and their facts. If visual performance, visual stats do not lie, basically, is where we're coming from. So it looks like the public opinion here is shifting. We still have a lot of people who are lost in the dark that aren't probably racing fans at all, and then they want to blame us for not being racing experts because we look at the facts and the stats. But that's a whole nother story. We can make a whole nother roast in the comment section again. Anyway, but first off, I want to talk about racing reference right here. So this is where we judge all drivers based upon racing reference, right? We did this earlier this year based upon, I think it was like 3 or 4 select starts that she had already made, plus the 2 full-time seasons she had done prior, plus the 1 part-time season before. So now we're going to look at her racing reference so far this season. Through 13 of 23 races, right? We're past the halfway point of the Truck Series season. She currently has 1 top 10 finish, which was at Texas, and I'm not going to take anything away from her. She didn't have a car to run there. She was in the mid-20s all day, but in racing, stats matter. She survived the carnage and got a 6th place finish. Congratulations. We've given her the props on this already on the channel. But she only has 2 laps led, and 2 of those laps led were at Darlington, where she stayed out on like 30, 40 lap old tires and then faded through the field instantly. It was just an absolute desperation move from her team, because they've given up on her, right? Her team at ThorSport has completely given up on her. We've proved this in the past. We've seen it. You can see it on a weekly basis here with Hailie Deegan. Her fan base has completely given up on her. Or her, not her fan base, her team has completely given up on her. Her fan base obviously hasn't, because they're just out loud and proud, as always, trying to prove to everybody with no clear evidence or facts how good of a race car driver she is, right? Which we've said she's a good race car driver. Just because you're a bust in one league doesn't mean you're a bust for life in everything you drive, right? She could probably find a successful career in a different avenue. It just isn't working out here in NASCAR, and these stats prove it. 2 laps led on the season, right? That's not great. I mean, she hasn't led any laps prior to this season, so yes, she did get 2 laps led under yellow at Darlington. Congratulations there. Her average start is at par with her first season, right? Because we've noted that our first season was pretty decent in the trucks for being a rookie year. No judgments or anything, because you get a free pass your rookie year, right? She had an 18 flat average starting position. This year she's at an 18-1, so she's right on par with where she was a rookie year. But that shouldn't be happening, because she's in her 3rd season, do or die, and she is literally dying right now on the track as a race car driver. Her career is taking a complete drop off. Average finish so far through 13 to 23 races, it's a 21.5. It's worse than her rookie year, which is just astounding in itself. How are you that much worse than your rookie year, especially in ThorSport Championship equipment? They've been in the championship for the last 2 seasons. Last year they had Majeski and Rhodes in the championship for. She has Rhodes' championship team from 2 years ago on her team, or running for that team. So there's just no excuses for this point to have a 21.5 average finish. Yes, she's a half a position higher than last season, but she's a whole position, half a position behind her rookie season. How do you digress this badly, especially with a new team that's probably better than where she was last year, in my opinion? And then she has 8 lead lap finishes out of 13 races, which is just bad. That's just terrible. That's just a little over half of the races she's ran, she's finished on the lead lap, right? That means that the other races she's getting lapped, which you shouldn't be in Truck Series, the fact that the stages are so short, the fact that you would get lapped. But most of her non-lead lap finishes are coming from DNFs. So, I mean, you just can't be tearing up cars in your 3rd season on a weekly basis anymore where you're at. And then when you are running out there, you're in the mid-20s. I mean, this is just sad, being in a championship team, championship winning equipment, and you can't even get a top 5, top 10 on a consistent basis. It's just, her stats this year are just proving she's a bust. Obviously, she's probably going to move up to Xfinity because Ford's going to back her. Ford's giving her all the money. And you get these comments saying, oh, she just doesn't have the funding, doesn't have the back. And she has tons of funding, tons of backing. To be able to compete in the Truck Series, yes, you do have to have talent. I've noted this in the past. Yes, she would run laps around me anywhere they went in the Truck Series. 100% without a doubt. But then number two, when you're in this type of championship equipment, you have to start putting up the results. She hasn't put up the results. So I believe the public opinion, for the most part, has shifted away from believing that she has talent